Welcome to the Letters Page, a podcast where we write Sentinel comics. I'm Christopher.
And I'm Adam. How's it going, buddy?
Great. You know, this morning, I had a delightful time. Do you know what that time was?
No.
Having a cat lie on me for like half an hour this morning after I woke up. My cat Mango crawled up on the bed. He jumped up there and started nosing his way up to my face. You know, the funny thing, Em and I have this joke that...
I thought you were Christopher.
Yeah. Em and I have this joke, though. Christopher and Em have this joke about our cat Mango, who likes to steal our breath, or that's what we think he likes to do because he wants to get super up close to our face. And, he's the cutest boy. So that was a wonderful time this morning, as well as I've been playing a whole bunch of Factorio with my brothers, and that's been awesome. I've been hunting biters, which for me is the only thing that game is about, is just hunting and killing bugs while other people build things. So it's been awesome. How about you?
Well, here in Kansas City, there's been lots of tornadoes, so I've just been hiding in the basement for an entire week.
I'm so sorry. That doesn't sound great. Whoa.
No, I loved it.
Oh, good.
It's my best. It's the best time.
Oh, good. Okay. Good.
That's my happy place.
It's your happy place?
As happy as it can get.
Okay. You know, I don't know if you're picking it up. I'm getting some kind of maybe some audio issues. Are you feeling?
Yeah, I think we might be going through a tunnel.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. The studio might be going through a tunnel.
Mm-hmm. We should stop recording this on a train.
Yeah, we should definitely stop recording this on a train.
All right, I think we fixed the audio issues.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, how do you sound to me now?
How
do you sound to me now?
How do I sound good? I sound good to you.
That's correct.
Yeah, how do you sound to me?
I sound pretty decent.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Pretty okay.
Yeah, but I think we fixed it.
Excellent.
Man, Audacity is just a weird nonsense.
I don't understand what was going on there. It was very strange. Anyway, you were telling me about tornadoes? You've been having several tornadoes at your house, and you've been hanging out in the basement?
Yeah, well, no. I don't hang out in the basement.
No, okay.
Yeah, I'm from Kansas. I don't hang out in the basement when there's tornadoes.
No, you go to the basement when the tornadoes are there.
When I can see it, right. then I'll go to the basement. Yeah.
Well, you say that like you don't hang out in your basement already anyway.
Well, you sure? Well, this isn't actually. I don't know if this is safe for a tornado.
I don't know if it is or not, but you are in the basement right now.
It's sort of a basement. It because it exits to the outside, and there's a basement below it that doesn't.
Oh, you've got a sub-basement.
Not underneath this, but it's a split level, so it
zigzags.
Yeah, so I can go over that way, and it's a lower place.
Even more basement.
Yeah, that's unfinished.
Yeah, okay. And you don't really hang out there.
I work out there. That's about it.
Nice. How high is the ceiling in your unfinished basement area?
It's full ceiling.
That's nice. I find it a lot of...
It's exposed, but...
Yeah, that's fine. I just find a lot of basements, I can touch the joists in the basement, and that means I can't fully work out because I do a lot of overhead stuff.
No, I can lift
my
arms all the way up. Yeah.
That's good.
I don't think my weight cage would have fit if I...
no, it wouldn't.
If I did that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I'm from Kansas City, and we ignore tornadoes here until they're a real problem.
Until they're on top of you, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I guess we'll go to the basement for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Grab your Game Boy.
Yeah. What were you? Okay. So yeah, what were you saying about your cat before we got interrupted?
Oh yeah, no, it was just like that. Me and my cat had a nice time this morning. Syl is doing very well. My cat Syl, who I live alone with. That's right. All the entities in my house is me and
no one else.
And no one else. Right. Yeah. It'd be weird. Yeah. So, okay. But yeah. Anyway, well, since we did all that intro, do you want to do a podcast?
Yeah. Are we just getting ready to do it?
I imagine so.
Okay.
Unless we have anything else to cover.
I don't think so.
All right, Adam.
Yes.
Adam.
Yes.
You had a cool idea before we went live. We were chatting.
I did.
Yeah, so the digital foe and digital realm is today's topic. And I like that idea, and I want to go with it. And I don't think we need to explain that idea. I think we can just start because, well, two things. We need to know when and where this issue takes place.
Right. Yeah.
But then I think we can just dive in because between your ideas and my ideas and who we know various characters are and going forward, I think we just kind of go and fix it as we go.
Yeah, I think that I would want this. This seems like you do late 90s or early odds.
That's where I was thinking too. Of course.
Like when the internet is like still a sort of mystical. Like, did you ever see the movie Hackers?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so the hackers in that movie have like a graphical interface that they
GUI?
go in through that they like surfboard through the computer, and like it's all a CD, but they're just like typing on a thing. They're not like
Hackers came out in 1995.
wow, that early.
Yeah.
Well, I guess after that's the late 90s. But yeah,
The first question that popped up when I Googled the movie Hackers is like, is it based on a true story? I'm like, it's based on a true story that there was kids on computers.
yeah, it's. I don't think it's. Is it? It can't be.
The story
it's
was
so
loosely,
ridiculous.
It says the story was loosely based on real events, but I'm like, does that just mean that like some kids used some computers
that
one
means
time?
yeah,
Is
someone
that
heard of a hacker one time.
Zero Cool, aka Crash Override, has been banned from touching a keyboard for 7 years
7 years. Yeah.
after crashing 1,500 Wall Street computers at the age of 11. Banned from touching a keyboard for 7 years. Weird
Yep.
thing to enforce, yo.
Yeah. How you gonna do that?
Maybe in the 95 it was easier.
I guess. Just all computers.
I don't know. And I feel like in 1985 I was touching keyboards almost constantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either computer ones or piano ones. It's just oops, all keyboards.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Every now and then to be a controller, but
Every now and then it'd be a controller.
no, but like it was.
I get you.
Most of my gaming was PC though. So.
I never had I didn't, the only console gaming I did in that era was with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you remember coming over and we played like the Dragon Ball RPG, the SNES one
On a computer.
on the computer.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Which my brother actually got me for Christmas. He got me the cart of that.
Is it translated?
It's right there. No. It's
That was the best part. We were like, well, I'm not sure what this means.
I guess we'll figure it out.
do
We
you think
beat
this
that game though.
We did somehow.
Without a single iota of Japanese.
We had no knowledge of what happened to that game, but we sure beat it somehow. We learned. Anyway, so the question is, do we want to do this in 1999 because it's 1999, or do we want to do it in the year 2000 because it's the year 2000? Like those are the two best years. It's not just late 90s, early
Right.
aughts. You want to do it in 1999
And
or the year 2000.
where are our gaps? What are we like?
I mean, depending on what book we put it in, we've got a bunch of space.
It
seems
feels
like
it's probably a Justice Comics.
I was thinking the same thing. And if you want to do Justice Comics, we could do it as the very last issue of 1999.
Sure, a way to close out.
Yeah. And then we leads us right to, because we start 2000 in Justice Comics and various other things with Citizen Dawn stuff, Sunrise leading to the big Citizen Dawn Sunrise story.
Okay, yeah. So,
So-
like just a little palate cleanser before like one-off story.
Yeah, we just had the Terraform story. Yeah, we just had the Terraform story. So, oh my gosh, Justice Comics has been busy. Okay. All right. Adam, let me tell you about Justice Comics throughout the entirety of 1999.
Sure,
1998, December of 1998, Justice Comics.
that's not 1999.
I know. This is
So
how it
you've
is.
lied to me. Is what's just happened.
Welcome. I'm sorry, are you new here? December of 1998 is Justice Comics 523, in which the hippo dresses up as Santa Claus, robs a toy store, and Absolute Zero is like, hey man, chill,
Yeah, don't do that.
and then freezes him.
Yep.
We're going to do a year of Justice Comics here. Then the first two issues of 1999, 524 and 525, are Martyr hunting Darkstrife and Painstake.
Okay.
And then March, April, May, and June are all Thorathian Strike Force stuff, crossing over with a bunch of different books, Skyscraper, Censor, all that stuff.
Nice.
Then we have a 4-part Terraform story, the first Terraform, 530 to 533, bringing us up to October of 1999. So November and December, I think we do a 2-part issue today. Because either we have a standalone in November, a standalone in December, and then jump into Citizen Dawn stuff, or we do a 2-part. And
Okay.
this could easily be a 2-part. We can end this on a cliffhanger in the digital realm, spoilers, at the end
Yeah.
of issue 534, and then have the resolution and other stuff in 535. How's that sound to you?
Sounds good. Wait, so 535 is December or
535 is December, 534 is November.
Okay.
And we'll talk in the cover section about which cover you want to do. Probably
Okay.
both. Probably not.
I don't know anything about what we're doing, like
That's
other
true.
than like the basic plot of it.
Yeah.
But I have a name for the villain that I'm going to type to you right now.
Oh, that's great. I love this synergy. Getting it done today. Let's see. I hate it. Now Adam and I are just typing at each other in Slack.
Yeah, this is the new
new
thing,
okay, cool.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, and you respond with an emoji instead of words. This is great. This is the digital realm. We're doing it.
Yep. We did this entire episode digitally.
We are, yes, and you're listening to it digitally.
Yeah. How about that?
How about that? This is the digital realm. The digital realm is the friends we made along the way.
Okay.
Adam, this is great. I like this new direction we're going. We've changed so much in the last minute. But yeah, because a name gives you so much, you know? Once you have a name, that really gives you a feel for it. But what I was intending to do is open this story focused on this character that we're obliquely talking about here, about like what they're doing that gets them to the point of becoming the villain they're about to become.
Okay.
But I don't know, like what are they doing that gets us to this change that like then puts them.
Well, so my feeling is that,
like, I don't want to do a mad science thing. I don't
know
want
that
to.
we need to.
I think we do. I think we need to establish a character and a motivation.
Well,
like we don't need to do much.
I think that we have a motivation from from starting it with, like, if we just have all the screens go.
No, what if okay, hold on. Nah, this is great. What if we start with a superhero fight?
Yeah.
And we're going to have various heroes in this fight. I think given the book, like, see, who did we just have? Terraform had...
It's Slaughterhouse 6 because of the nature of their powers.
What?
Have them just fighting the Slaughterhouse 6.
Oh, sure, that's fine. I'm the heroes. I mean, who are the heroes in the fight?
Oh,
Slaughterhouse 6 is fine. Slaughterhouse 6 is great. They're fighting Slaughterhouse 6.
It's Freedom 5 because it's focused on a Freedom 5 adjacent
Sure,
hero.
I'm great with that. Freedom 5 and Unity and Omnitron X.
Yes.
7 heroes against 6 villains.
Not fair.
Big, but it's a big wild fight. It's a big, like...
Yeah, Raymanta is very upset.
Sure. Like, this is not fair at all. Too many robots.
And
Yeah. But this is happening in, like, a big city intersection. Cars are getting tossed. Like, people are running around screaming, and a car gets thrown and exploded because of heroes and because of villains fighting, and there's like a big explosion next to one of the buildings, and then the superhero fight like continues, but we stop paying attention to it. We like cut to the end of the superhero fight, and like there's the aftermath, and like maybe there's reporters like mobbing the heroes, like, what's going on? And Legacy's like, oh, this and that, and that, like there's this like, over there, we're not paying attention to it. The fight has ended. The heroes have won the day, but we're focused on some EMTs who are helping injured people. And there's like some construction workers. Yeah, heck, Bunker in the bunker suit is like picking up pieces of rubble, and they're extracting people. So like, it's not that the heroes are like blind to this or uncaring.
yeah, they don't just peace out.
No, but there is this idea of like, that we are delving into the thing we rarely do, which is the consequences of superpowered fights in population centers. And when Bunker moves like a big piece of rubble, and there is a young woman who is knocked out and pretty roughed up, that the EMTs are like, oh shoot, don't move her. We gotta very carefully like get the board, and she's unconscious. Is she dead? No, we got vital signs, but they're pretty weak. Okay, we put her in a car, we drive her to the hospital. Okay, great.
I think I want to do a thing where they're like, oh, we can't touch her with our bare hands because we get shocked.
Yeah. She's got electricity. There's a great. I love this. There's a woman
Because of revolt. Or
we move. Sure, we move the rubble, and the revolt had grabbed electrical lines and was in the fight and was holding onto them to project power at the heroes, just like firing infinite electricity at the heroes, drawing it from the electricity lines. And then this woman is like wrapped up in those discarded power lines. And they're like, oh shoot, we've got to, and like Tachyon is like, quick, we can do a rubber thing so we can get her. Okay, so Tachyon, Bunker moves things, Tachyon sciences things, helps the EMTs, they get her sent to a hospital, but they have to have her in a special statically discharged chamber
Yeah.
sort of thing. We don't spend a lot of time explaining it, just that she's in a special like dampening chamber.
Yeah.
Because
I think then we time jump. That we go 6 months later or whatever. Like, I don't know how long. Like, but I think that this happened before this story takes place. Does that make sense? That this little
for sure, right?
That there's been some time.
But yeah, we have this starting fight to have a starting fight. The only thing I want to do before we leave this, I want to leave a note of what's happening.
Okay.
To where like we have this electronics dampening room, and there's like a mini time jump of like, okay, well, she's in treatment, but she's in this coma and she won't wake up. But you can't, when you go in this room, you've got to make sure that there's like no electronics or anything because of the electricity, something, right?
Yeah, it fries everything in there. Yeah.
Right. And then we have one doctor going to check on her. And while the doctor's in there, he's like talking to a nurse, and there's a buzz from his pocket. And he's like, oh, shoot, my pager. And then her eye opens. And then we time jump.
Oh, I was thinking that thing would happen after the time jump, like
yeah, but I don't. Okay,
she's just like comatose for a while. And
sure,
then,
we
like,
can do a mini time jump of she's comatose for several months, but then we have another like okay, like this is her escape from her physical form into the grid,
the digital frontier.
Yeah,
I tried to picture clusters of information as they move through the computer. What do they look like? Ships, motorcycles, or the circuits like freeways.
Oh, cool. We could do a thing where like the doctor's pager goes off. He's like, oh shoot, my pager. We see a close up of her eye open, but their eye is all like blank ones and zeros or something like that.
Oh sure, yeah.
To a like digitized person eye thing. Great. Okay. So now we return to the heroes.
Yeah.
Do we go to a newscast from this?
I don't know if we need a newscast, but like we can. I think that
I think we're going to start subtle. So now so because now since we're doing a 2-part issue here, we have some space for it, and also this is the time of it. I don't think we need to deal with this yet. We've set this up, and I
think we have the reveal of the villain at the end of this issue.
I agree for sure, and for one, for two, we have the readers are aware that there is something not great happening. There's something ominous that has happened with that. I'm not sure what it is. We'll have to come back to it. Maybe we'll see. Whatever. We move on. So we're going to have the heroes dealing with some sort of thing. But who is it? Bunker gets to like we go back to Freedom Tower, and Legacy and Wraith and Tachyon and Unity and Absolute Zero are all meeting. They're chatting, and they're like, "Well, he was supposed to be here 20 minutes ago." So we could, talk about what's going on with all this stuff. It's like, yeah, he's weird. He is never late. And Tyler Vance comes to the door. Is like, sorry guys, weirdest thing. Like, not only did I hit every red light, it's like the lights weren't changing. I eventually just like left my car on the side of the road in a no-tow zone, hopefully, and just booked it the last couple blocks. But it feels like everything's out to get me.
You could have someone say, "I think everything is out to get you." And look outside; it's like all the lights are red.
Right. So you could. I feel like it's one of those days where everything's just out to get me. You know how it is. I feel like it's just one of those days, and they're like, "It's not just one of those days."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something's up.
Something's up. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So I think the thing I want to do here is put a pin in our villain.
Yeah.
Because we talked about the reveals at the end. I think we want to do a misdirection.
Okay.
I think we want to have another villain you take advantage of the grid being all messed up and be like, aha, my plan, and do a thing, and then be like, oh, this is the villain behind it, but it's just an opportunistic villain. But we have the space here in these 2 issues for more than one story, and we can do like when they beat up the Slaughterhouse 6 earlier, everyone... like they captured most of them, but a couple escaped, and so now it's Ray Manta and Desert Eagle doing a thing or something. Like we could do that, or we could do a completely different direction.
I like it being Ray Manta, like, and being like, this was my plan all along.
Yeah, he's the sort to take advantage of this and to be like, okay, somebody, because Ray Manta's clever enough Oh, in fact, never mind. I know what Ray Manta. I've got Ray. Great. This is great. So it's Ray Manta, and let's have him have an ally for the Slaughterhouse 6. I was thinking, I don't want it to be Revolt. I don't want it to be Glamour. I don't want it to be Ambuscade. I don't want it to be Magbam. So it's Desert Eagle.
Yeah.
So so Ray Manta, along with his associate Desert Eagle, are taking advantage of this to rob a bank.
Yep.
They're like, all the whole grid in downtown Megalopolis is shut down. Fantastic. Ray Manta shows up at the bank by himself, goes in, is like, here's the deal. I know how it works. I don't want the big bags of cash. That's silly. I don't want the big heavy gold. I want some information from some particular boxes, and I'm going to get those. I'm going to have them in a little file folder. I'm going to walk out the front. The heroes are going to show up, and I'm going to be like, I planned for this too. And Desert Eagle's going to swoop down and grab him, and they're just going to fly off. And then the heroes are going to pursue them, and they're going to chase them, and there's going to be various traps that Ray Manta has set along the way. They're going to deal with it. They're eventually going to catch up to them, and the grid keeps being a problem, not just in a passive, the whole grid is shut down way, but in an active, like occasionally, like they end up in a street and a light turns green and a car almost hits one of the heroes, and it's like, what? Oh my gosh, what's going on? Like that there's stuff happening that shouldn't be.
You could have Wraith like sneaking up on someone and being like, I'm gonna do, and then a TV like starts blaring right behind her.
Yeah.
And like
absolutely. Yeah.
Gives her away. Like, yeah.
Yep. Radios, their radio communications are down. Ooh, not just down, unreliable. Sometimes there's like staticky, sometimes they're working. At one point, Bunker hears Legacy say, quick, Bunker, punch through that wall. And Bunker's like, all right, there must be something, and punches through the wall. And the team's like, whoa, why'd you do that? Now there's this other problem here, and like water's pouring out of this wall. And Bunker's like, I heard Legacy, you tell me to punch through the wall. And Legacy's like, son, I never said that. And they're like, uh-oh. Don't trust anything from the digital communicators. We can only trust what we hear and see. Ray Manta's really messed this whole thing up. Great. They catch Ray Manta. He's a small-time hero, and they're the Freedom Five.
Yeah,
like
small-time villain.
That's more accurate. Sorry, revealing my true colors here.
Ray Manta he's right about robots.
Man, the Ray Manta was right t-shirt sells, I tell you what.
Yeah,
especially in this modern era with drones and all the stuff we're dealing with now and this year. Ray Manta was right t-shirts hotter than ever.
Yeah, I kind of want one.
We got to make one.
Yeah.
You got to be the t-shirt you want to see in the world.
That's true. I'll make it. I'll put it on a Cafe Press.
There you go. Does Cafe Press still exist?
I'm sure they do, but they make like cheapo, like not good shirts. I wonder if there's a better place, but.
All right. So they catch Ray Manta and they're like, your villainy stops now. And he's like, yeah, obviously. No problem. I got the information I wanted. And the files that I got from the bank, I already read them. I just wanted to get that information. I've read it. I've seen it. Now I know it. So
can steal things back from my brain.
Right. And Tachyon's like, don't tempt me. He's like, we're not doing that this issue. That's not the kind of thing we're doing here. Tachyon's like, there's a story.
I got a friend that can do that.
Yeah, right.
You know her.
Yeah. He's like, we don't talk about that. But anyway, so it's like, I've already read these things. Sure, take them back to the bank. That's fine. But here's the fun thing. You don't even know what you're dealing with. This isn't me. I saw what was happening here, and I'm like, some other villain's having a fun time. I'm going to take advantage of it, for one, get these files, and for two, I'm going to keep the heat off of them so they have enough time to get set up. By this time, I'm sure whoever's doing this grid thing, I have no idea what it is, but I'm sure that I've given them enough time to take advantage of the situation. You're outclassed, heroes. And then all the lights go out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. I think all the lights go out.
Yeah.
In the city.
Yeah. Yeah, we see like all the lights. We see like the panel go dark, but with some like silhouettes to indicate it's not just a black panel; it's dark. And then we zoom out one in the city. Ka-chung-chung-chung. Yeah.
But like one building can light up in like basically the windows are acting like pixels.
Yeah.
And it can move and do like a giant digital face, basically.
Sure.
And do a monologue from that. And so like then it's like projected out of every TV and then on the side of this building.
The digital face is on every the lights go out, the city goes dark. TVs come on, and we get a monologue at the end of this from this character, which we'll get to in a second. In the process of doing that, we see this not just like, the panels are just a screen of the TV through the end of the issue, or through the, I mean, it's only going to be a few panels to sale, but we don't just see that. We see like people in their homes going, "Oh gosh!" on the TV. We see people in the city pointing up and seeing the side of the building with the face on it, talking. We see the Freedom Five, and they're there with Ray Manta and Desert Eagle, and they're like putting him in handcuffs. They're apprehending him, and Desert Eagle's like, "Oh no, I was captured." But Ray Manta's just like laughing. Ray Manta's like, "Haha, comeuppance." But we get this monologue about like you people squandering your time in the limited space of physical reality. You don't understand how deep the world actually is. It's far beyond your puny senses. The physical realm only exists to provide a network for the true realm, the digital realm. And
I'm its queen.
Yeah, bow before me. Did we get the name?
Yeah, is that how we end?
Yeah.
That's the name? Yeah, okay.
Synthetique.
Yeah, I think that like they want you to just say it synthetic, but like it's spelled synthetique.
It's been spelled synthetique. Yeah.
Yeah.
And since it's a comic,
yeah.
I bet you there's a divide. It's
there
probably
is
like
a bunch of people
a
that
60-40
like,
divide, but it's probably like, 60% say, synthetic, and 40% were like, no, synthetique.
Yeah. I'd say it's synthetic.
Synthetic? Ugh, that's the worst. Yeah. You either commit to synthetic
no, I'm
or
doing
synthetique.
Both.
Yeah.
Synthetic. It's not a real word anymore. I've said it too many times.
It never was a real word.
Well, I know. Well, yeah, okay.
It's synthetic, Adam.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the first issue. Adam, this issue ends with a thing that we rarely do, and I think is very cool. A double monologue.
A double monologue.
Yeah, we go from the Ray Manta monologue.
That's true.
Right into the synthetique monologue.
That's true.
That's pretty cool. I can't think of the last time we did a double monologue. 534 is done, Adam.
Great.
And so that's a writer's room right there. We finished it. Do we leave everybody on a cliffhanger and say you have to ask for 535 if you want to hear it?
You know we don't do that.
Nah,
we provide value here at the letters page.
I'm not sure what that value is. We provide value to our shareholders.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah. All of our shareholders, those who
all
hold
shareholders.
Shares in the letters page. Should change all of the contributors in the Patreon to shareholders.
We should, yeah.
Yeah.
So that they really feel important.
That's right. Because we're creating value for them.
Yeah.
All right. Issue 535.
Not monetary value. This is a deeper value.
No,
this is emotional shareholders.
Greater than monetary value.
Yes.
Money can't buy this value except for $10 a month it can.
It can, yeah. That's the cost of it.
Money can absolutely buy this value. Anyway. Okay. So I think that the storytelling style from 534 isn't necessarily carried into 535 because 534 doesn't really ever focus on a character.
No, it doesn't.
It's like, here's these people talking, now here's these people talking. And that's great. I think that's good. It's good for us to have those group stories of where like it's all, here are the events that are happening and here are the people involved in those events as opposed to having a main character of the issue.
I think that what we can do here actually is really cool because like we're switching to Omnitron X's perspective.
Spoilers, but yes.
So, and we can kind of recap events from his perspective and go from the previous issue.
Yes.
Like, or in the previous issue, we can have Omnitron X just there, but never really see what's going on with him.
Right. Yeah, he was there for the Slaughterhouse 6 fight, and then we see him as part of like, and the Freedom 5 are doing anything, he's there, and then like, we see him pursuing, like we see Omnitron X around, but he's just a character that's there.
Right. But so in this one, we go like, accumulation of data through each of those things.
Yeah, we get like a 2-page or like a 1-page blank start that is probably like Omnitron X. It is like analyzing data. And with words top of the page, words at the bottom of the page, and then we have a 2-page spread that is processing, and it shows like fight with Slaughterhouse 6, assessing casualties, and then the grid starts being compromised, and have Omnitron be like, I was aware of something, like had awareness of something being,
and it can like jump back and forth and go like, injury report pulled this up for this person.
Right, yeah. And so it's like Omnitron X putting all the pieces together with the implication that like this is what Omnitron X has been quietly doing the whole time.
Right.
So, yeah. And then we get to, so we have this 2-page spread and at the very end of the 2-page spread is like, okay, so like, identity of synthetique is this person. We need to name her. Well, we can do that right now. But identity is this, and then goals, and then like purpose, method, goals, and it's like unknown. And I have a thing I want to end that 2-page spread in the corner with. But let's pause real quick. Identity of synthetique. We need a name.
Yeah.
Wow, Adam, we've used so many names.
No, I know. Ada is what the
Ada Lovelace.
Yeah. I think that we shouldn't go for like too niche a reference, and that's like pretty surface level.
I don't know that we need a technology reference. I don't know. Because here's the thing. Here's why I don't think we need that.
Okay.
I think that identity is discarded.
Okay.
I think that once we are synthetique, we're not caring about what the former. I think we can have it like, oh, your name was this. Like, yeah.
So I kind of think you're right in that it doesn't necessarily matter, but like I also think that comic writers can't help themselves.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, the other really obvious big one is Hedy Lamarr. So you could do like Ada Lamar and just be like,
yeah, I mean, you could just do that. Like, especially if it's just like a one-off, like you're never really going to hear her name again, I think.
Right. Yeah. It's just printed there on the thing. Yeah. Yeah. There's different names that we could use for the character if we were doing her more like modernly, like in the 2010s or whatever. But I do think 1999. Okay, let's just do it. Just to.
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
I think that it's in print once. So
yeah. And I'm not worried that we're, like using up a name. They're like, oh no, we're going to save that for somebody else. Like, no, this is this one like too on the nose name that we're quickly discarding, and the people reading it are like, the name, but then like it never comes up and it's not important anymore.
Right.
Okay, but so we have this 2-page spread that is like already kind of digital realm-ish in that it is all of the events of issue 534, but from the point of Omnitron X in a computer simulation sort of way. Mm-hmm. But we get to the bottom right corner of the 2-page spread, and a word bubble pops in. It's like, hey, Ronnie, not Ronnie, but it's Unity interrupting Omnitron's thoughts. Is like, hey, bud, what's going on? What are you doing? Mm-hmm. How's it going? How's it? What you up to? What you thinking about? What you doing? Hey, let's do a thing. Do you want to do a thing? All electricity is bad. Does that mean I should make robots? Because then we can have a conversation with Unity and Omnitron X, which we need to have more of anyway, and have Unity expressing some like, what do we do about this situation if everything, like, are you okay? Are you affected by this?
Yeah, I mean, he can go like, I'm unaltered. I have things to do, basically.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that, with him mostly being like, no, this is fine, but like, I have the situation personally in hand, though I must remain like disconnected from the local grid. I can feel her intrusion.
Please wait.
Yeah. So the question is, how much of this issue do we want to spend in meat space?
I think none from here on out.
Yeah, I think
that actually, like, I would be fine with her going like, "Hey, are you okay? Hello?" Ting, ting, ting. Like, and he's like gone already.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, but I do want her. I either want to leave her with a sense of, oh, she knows everything's okay, or she's like, I have to watch this because everything might not be okay. So even if she's like, hey, like, okay, what's going on? Ting, ting, ting. And then like the face screen of Omnitron X says like something like calculating, or like
there's not
loading.
There's not a screen, it's just a big light.
Right, but having it somehow indicate to her, she's like, I don't know what that means.
It could do like the like slow pulse that looks like an update's happening. Like,
I don't know if that reads in in comics and B in the 90s.
No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be almost better to be like, oh, the big light, like,
I mean, we could just have them talk, and we could have him say like,
I like the
I have the
conversation
situation in hand. I just need to shut down for a while. So
yeah, I have to deal with this, but doing so means I have to I either have to disconnect from the grid, from the local grid, or from this conversation. And sadly, this villain needs to be dealt with. And Unity's like, oh, so you're gonna. Oh, and he's gone. Okay.
Yep, he's gone already. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. Okay. Woo, got there. Okay. So
now we're in the grid, a digital frontier.
has synthetique, synth for short, synth to her friends. She has no friends.
Cynthia,
but spelled S Cynthia.
Yeah.
Like the idea is that Omnitron goes into this place and is like, I think we have like running commentary for Omnitron, but like I exist here in this digital realm. My chassis is what I use to move around the world, but I am.
So this gets like a little philosophical,
right? He's like, but this place is as much my home as the body made of metal that I walk around the world in. However, this is not how it's supposed to look.
Yeah, my home is corrupted. That like this, there's an organic intelligence trying to manipulate this, and trying to. It's not an organic world.
Right, trying to change this world to work by the rules of her formerly organic mind. She's experiencing changing, becoming something more like me, but in the process, she's changing. She has somehow control of the grid and is changing it to be more like her. I fear that neither can survive such corruption.
So we see like him kind of repairing some of the things in that.
I think we see him fighting it.
Yeah, he fights some. He goes like, okay, this is out of place, and I changed this. It's like a big montage while he's inner monologuing.
Right.
So
yeah. That he is dealing with the idea that this like line grid based sort of place has natural or organic seeming things in it. Like there's at one point there's like waves of water, and he's like, nope, that's not how this works. These like we get art that looks wrong.
Yeah.
Whereas like, oh, here's
I think being when this is that there are large portions of this comic that are CGI.
Yeah.
That it's they made
the crappy 90s CGI.
Right. They made this in like whatever CAD software they had at the time.
Yes.
And
well, and I think we get that, but then with
the drawings
over it, where it's like here we have wireframe world and wireframe Omnitron X, and wireframe Omnitron X is like, yes, this is how I'm supposed to be, but then there is an artist has drawn a tree, like is like no, that tree should be a wireframe digital tree, not a oops, somebody drew a tree here.
And then he fixes it, makes it a computer tree.
Well, no, he goes up to like, oh, I can just go and like put his hand on it to like upload the proper parameters to the tree, and the tree grows a face and limbs and attacks him. And he's like, oh, nope, okay. And so he's fighting like a Wizard of Oz attacky tree.
Strange. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Where it is this combination of organic, and he's like, this is the combination of organic imagination mixed with digital precision, where like in this realm everything is either a 1 or a 0. There isn't any room for gray area or in between, and now it's being perverted to be something worse. Yeah, I'm looking at some stuff. I'm thinking like earlier than reboot CGI.
Well, so like even though CGI was further along, most comic artists couldn't do it.
Right.
So like it's like a child playing with like a like nice artist's pencils. You know, like
so I had Googled 90s CGI and the images. I'm like, no, this is too far along. Then I Googled 80s CGI. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
80s CGI is the place.
Because it's basically like a desktop publishing computer that they're using to make like Yeah,
and it's a lot of these like wireframe grid type stuff with blocky, bulky, malformed objects and a good amount of surrealism. Yeah, great. All right, so we're gonna have our conflict, and that's the Tron look as well. Yeah. So we're gonna have our conflict with synthetic by the end. But what is, and we've got Omnitron trying to fix the thing, but also dealing with digital threats as we go.
I think that the crux of this issue is the monologue, is like what he's saying is the
philosophical view of the digital realm.
That being like, I'm someone who's between both worlds.
Right.
I like sometimes it would be easier to just live here. But yeah.
Sure. I think that this issue though is also a turning point for Omnitron.
Okay.
I think that Omnitron is like keeps doing this. He's fixing stuff, he's fighting stuff, he's making it correct. He's fixing stuff, and he's like, this is never ending. And I can't actually fix this the way I'm going about it, because I am dealing with this as a digital denizen of the digital realm. And Synthetique, for whatever reason, has already proven that she has complete control of that. For me to defeat her, yes, I have to stop the organic corruption that she's doing to this place, but to do so, I have to think like an organic being.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think that we actually have a mid-issue break where we hop out of the digital realm and talk to Unity. I think that we shut Unity down early on. I think he's like, no.
I don't think we need to. I don't think we have time to leave and come back. And I don't think that it's good for the flow of the story.
Okay, we can have him remember a thing with Unity, but I think that we need to have him.
That's fine. Yeah,
we can have a flashback to it, or we can have him be like, yes, Unity. Always says that I take things too literally, and
we can see that moment in the prior issue. Also, we can flash back to something that happened there.
We can have some Unity Omnitron X like, come on, robot, don't be boring about it. And he's like, this is the way things are. Things are one thing or another thing. They can't be multiple things. We have him like, we have some not conflict, but some like lighthearted argument about that sort of that view of reality.
Very, very rigidly before this, and is like, okay, I have to think more flexibly. Like,
right. And so then when we get into the conflict with Synthetique, it's better. It's tough. It's tough. He can have the moment of her being like, he's like, oh, this realm is going to be the way I want it to be, and I'm going to control everything, and I will only let in that which I want to let in, and you get to be here only because I have complete control of you. I can. You're just like everything else in this realm. And he's like, no, I'm not. I can think outside the box. Like have him like have emotions about the situation.
Yeah, but like I was just a robot, and I'm something more now.
Yeah.
So I'm still not a human, but I'm something between the two. Like
we rehash a bit of his origin. Yeah. It's like, hey, by the thing that makes me Omnitron X is that I have an empathy chip, and part of empathy is also like having empathy for myself. I am a thinking, feeling being. I'm a feeling being. I'm not just a ones and zeros robot. So having him stop trying to fix all the organic stuff and instead be like, the problem is what you're doing with this place. Not that this place is changing. I'm changing. Everything's always changing. Trying to keep something from changing isn't the way to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool. How do we end it? How does...
So we have this big conflict with her where she's like making organic stuff, and then he like makes his own things. Like to fight her, we have him make Unity robots in the digital realm.
Oh, interesting.
She's like, I know what the purest form of creativity that I've ever seen is, and we have imitation is a serious form of flattery. Unity style robots in here attacking her organic creations, and as they like chomp them or whatever, we've got Unity bot versions of the Freedom 5 in the digital realm made by Omnitron X. Recursive loop. And as the creations of Omnitron X fight the things, it's no longer just trying to still them and making them back into digital wireframes, but instead trying to bring them into balance with this world and trying to bring them into like, okay, this can exist. These things can coexist. This realm can survive in this way. We go from 2D graphics to 3D graphics. We get things that are flat wireframes into like the bulky, clunky 3D things, but still like, okay, this is how these things work in the digital realm. It's fine. Yeah. But as she throws more and more things at Omnitron X, it gets to the point of like, yeah, hit me with more stuff. Is that the best you've got? To try to have her overextend to where he's like, now the digital realm has more of you than you yourself do, and you're just here to watch it. Like he builds essentially a cage, a digital wireframe cage for her in the digital realm
stuff.
Yeah, and is like, great, you're here now, and this is the thing, the place you've built, and you can observe it, and you can no longer interact with it. So she's stuck. She's trapped in this digital realm where she is a digital entity in a digital realm, but cannot influence the realm around her.
Okay. Yeah. I think at like when that happens, we should cut back to the real world.
Okay.
To her body in the coma.
Yeah.
And and it flatlines. They go, we've lost her.
Yeah, great. And it like we flatlines. We don't even have to cut back. We see it on a screen in the digital realm.
Oh, she could see out. Yeah,
she watches it. She's like, she watches her body die. She's like, no, it's not right. I'm still alive. She's like, yeah, you're still here. And just like everything else in this realm, you'll be part of this realm and you will watch the world around you. But you were wrong in saying that the digital realm only exists, the physical realm only exists to create and prop up the digital realm. In fact, it's the opposite. The digital realm exists as a framework for the physical realm. And the physical realm is where real people are.
And you're no longer real people.
And you're no longer real people. And I'm going back to be real people.
Okay, bye.
Right. And so we have like Omnitron X comes out and the Freedom Five are like, everything's better? And he's like, there was an error in the code, but it has been resolved.
Yeah. I think the way that this should end is like
we definitely have a coda.
It's like a 1-page like thing where it's just like her getting smaller and smaller in the distance and like showing just like how like alone in this empty digital realm.
I think we get the feeling of like we have a bit of a resolution with Omnitron X and the Freedom Five and Unity being kind of like, hey, sorry about like bugging you earlier, and Omnitron's like no, like our friendship is very important to me. Like this is you are the people I choose to be with for a reason. And it's like, okay, great. So we have a wrap up, we have a resolution, we have Omnitron X acknowledging the things that are important, and great. Okay, cool. Then we go back to the digital realm for a second, and we see that she was watching. She's like, oh, there's a camera in the corner. We probably like go to that camera, go into that camera. Yeah. We watch the camera, and she's like, okay, no, I can still see everything. There's got to be some way for me to see my way out of this, or my and it's
just like her muttering that, and as it gets smaller.
I could see everything. Yeah. Sure, there's got to be something that I can see that can make a difference. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. That's good. All right. Good job.
All right, Adam, shall we do some letters?
Let's do letters.
Let's go to the letters section.
Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam.
You know what? Why don't we read some letters?
I like letters.
You do like letters, and I like letters too. We have some from our listeners, our lovely listeners. Letters from lovely listeners.
Yeah, I love the alliteration.
Oh, you love it. That's good. I thought you'd love it. Good. Our first letter is from the real Christopher and Adam.
But we're the real Christopher and Adam.
Yeah, obviously. Dear imposters of Sentinel Comics, you are not the creators of Sentinels of the Multiverse. You have not been hosting a podcast called The Letters Page, and you are not named Christopher and Adam. In fact, you are both named Matt.
Matt? Why Matt?
I don't know. Therefore, you must cease all operations relating to this podcast.
The Letters Page is our podcast in which we tell stories. If you wish to make a podcast of your own, do so, but leave the Letters Page in our capable hands. Thank you. Sincerely, the real Christopher and Adam.
Nice. Okay. I feel like that's
got to get him.
That got it. Yeah.
Right. I feel like I'm already back on the podcast again.
Yeah, I feel like we put this to rest.
That was weird.
We fixed everything.
We fixed it. Whew. Okay.
Some sort of incursion. It was not.
I don't know what happened there, but I do know that through the power of letter writing, which Adam, you and I, over the last many years, have learned just how powerful letter writing can be.
Yes.
And we've used that power now.
We used our own
to retain.
We had to harness the power that we've given to others for our own purposes.
That's right. The power that was taught to us by
the ancient ones.
The Letters Page listenership.
Yeah.
They've shown us the true power of letters, and now we've used that power to retain our rightful position.
Yes. Great. Okay. Well, so now let's give the power back to them.
That's right. With that out of the way, I think we can go back to reading other people's letters, which is way my preference.
Right.
All right. Whew. All right. First real letter, Adam, we have today. First letter from a listener, as opposed to us. We are not listeners. We barely listen to each other.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, fair. First letter is from Mecharach. Mecharach. Yeah, we got it. Hail, writers. Been a little while since I last dictated a letter to you. Here goes. I love the concept of cyberspace, simulated realities, and the horror that stems from them. Because of this, I was wondering if Sentinel Comics has any form of glitch entity present in its pages. Is this cyberspace home to some odd mass of voxels that corrupts anything it touches? Are there any AIs present in the world that sprung forth from a glitch in non-sentient code? Any creatures that were glitched out of a non-simulated reality, left as little more than unused codes in the fabric of reality? I guess Foss and Bugbear might count being outside of reality, but I'm not sure. Thank you for answering my questions. Cordially, Error, Jav, Lang, Era, Index, out of bounds, exception, Index 11, out of bounds for length 10. Great. Okay. So, yeah, there's a string of error code there.
So I think this is probably the first time we visit this digital realm.
Right.
Like,
and I will admit, we did... as soon as this letter started, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a fair point. We did a bad job at putting unfamiliar entities into a digital realm. We put very comfortable with digital realm entities into the digital realm and then had them do weird things with it.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's space, and in fact, there's cyberspace, if you will, for sending other beings, like this is not it, Naturalist and Akashtria in the digital realm story,
right.
Where you take creatures that don't go there. But that's not this story. This story was Omnitron X, who is a digital being, against Synthetique, that by the time we meet her is a digital being in that realm. But yeah, more stories in this sort of space. I could definitely see it.
Yeah, I think that there definitely are some. Yeah, this is kind of like an established piece of lore from here. As for like creatures that come from there, I think so too. Like any AIs that spring forth, glitches. It talks about corrupting things.
Yeah, I could both see in two different ways of like there could be something in there that corrupts anything it touches. There could be something that comes from the digital realm somehow that like manifests physically and is like starts touching things and turning things into polygons. Yeah. There might be things that are like akin to like an immune system also, that it's like, oh, we attack the things that are not digital that come here. There's a lot of things you could do. I don't know. Yep. I agree.
I have a letter from Farmer Gord, who writes, Dear Adam and Christopher, I hope I make it in time. I just remembered you record the Friday before the podcast come out. If not, I hope this makes it to the follow-up later.
It made it by just a few minutes. I was putting all the other questions together this morning, and I saw it come in. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll throw it in there.
Yeah. Thanks for doing a digital phone in a digital realm. I love Tron. I hope this is a person pulled into a computer story, but I know it could be different and great too. I have two questions.
It was a person pulled into a computer story, but that person is a computer.
Yeah. But that does leave room for people being pulled in here.
Non-computer people.
Well, one person was not a computer and ended up
She is a computer now, though.
Well, she is now.
Right.
But she wasn't for most of it.
Yeah.
One, about writing. Do you think authors, and maybe it changes decade to decade, would use the digitalness to create issues for a hero or protagonist? Let's say Tachyon is in a computer. Would they say she's limited by the computational power of the computer, so her speed can't work there and she needs to find another way?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's definitely a thing you can do. Like, this realm only operates in these ways, and you can't break those rules until you find a way to do so or whatever. Yeah.
You need to rewrite the code of the reality. And
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 is more at Adam. That's me.
That's you.
Given there could be issues released with Benchmark or Bunker alongside Captain Cosmic or Argent Adept, how can you differentiate a digital plane versus robots in space or similar? What are ways you think of as an artist to differentiate these settings? Thanks, all, Farmer Gord. So, I mean, I think that there are very specific visual tropes for digital realms.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I don't really think of those as confusing. I don't know like robots in space look very different from things happening in a digital realm, because I don't think a digital realm looks like space. It looks like there's wireframe stuff, there's polygons, it's colorful. It's not empty.
It's not right. It has a sense of like colorfulness and busyness, but also vastness. That's the thing that's similar to space. Is the digital realm should feel vast,
yeah, but
not vast and empty. Whereas space should feel vast and empty with little pinpricks of light civilization goings on. Whereas the digital realm should feel vast and busy, not necessarily cramped though. Anyway, this is awkward. I hope some of those help.
Yeah.
Fregarek writes, Hail writers, one simple question for you. Does Sentinel Comics ever tackle the idea of the world as we know it as being a simulation, such as The Matrix? What about recursive simulations? That's all I've got for you. Just wanted to hear your thoughts. Cordially, Fregarek. P.S. Thanks for the episode. The topic's pretty neat. You're welcome. The topic's not from us, though.
No, you could thank yourselves.
That's right. Okay. The world is a simulation. Do a thing where like the digital realm either gets to the point of, I mean, sure it does. No, we know it does because we have the virtual reality stuff that we've talked about with the Entertainer, where it's like, oh no, you think you're in the real world, but you're not.
I want to say, doesn't Torment do that to Setback too? Like a VR thing, like a simulation? A simulation,
yeah. So we have a couple of things. I don't know that we ever have this specific digital realm act like it's the real world. But I don't know. Maybe. I could see it.
All right. Yeah. Leo Melanson, aka Level Up Leo, writes, Dear Christopher and Adam, since I don't know who the episode is about, here are some general questions about this episode. Did any of the characters in this episode give you up, let you down, run around and desert you, make you cry, say goodbye, tell a lie, or hurt you?
What a specific set of questions.
Yeah, what a weird set of, I don't know. Do you
want to go through them one at a time? Let's see. Did any of the characters... So let's talk about the main two characters who I would say is Omnitron X and Synthetique.
Well, and how frequently they do these things.
Right. Did they give... I guess they both gave us up because they went to the digital realm where we stayed in meat space.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave us
always going to give you up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always going to let you down.
I would say they never let us down.
So always, never.
Yeah, always giving us up, but never let us down because, like, look at today's story.
Definitely going to run around to desert you. That's what happens.
Oh, okay. Now, I would say I don't say they either always or never make us cry. I think that they like sometimes.
Maybe going to make you cry?
Maybe going to make you cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always going to say goodbye.
Sometimes going to say goodbye.
Never going to tell a lie.
Never going to tell a lie. One time going to hurt you.
One time. Yeah.
One time.
Yeah, one time. Yeah. Happy April 1st, and Playgrass still needs an episode. No fooling. Level Up Leo. Thanks.
Thank you for your letter, Level Up Leo. What a weird set of questions.
Yeah, I've never seen them put in that order like that. That's strange.
Strange indeed.
What a strange organization of things.
Could mean anything. All right, I've got a letter here. We're moving on to letters that are follow-ups from the Ra and Calypso episode. Adam, this letter is from Tomes, who writes... From the pages of Tomes, Christopher and Adam, thank you for regaling us with the tragic tale of Layla Kamel, ending a fulfilling career at the venerable age of 35 years old. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Quite a long run in the industry, really.
Quite a long run.
Calypso's origin being tied to a mystical water of life has me intrigued, but since investigating those same waters risks my library, I'll have to ask you two instead. Okay, we got 5 questions here, Adam. 1, can Calypso heal others with the water of life? So since Calypso's made of the water of life, could she like take somebody and water of life at them and heal them a bit?
I think
so.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I could see it coming up. It comes up in the Calypso goes down and hangs out with Miss Abyss, and Miss Abyss gets like bitten by a shark, and Calypso's like, "I'll heal you," and then they have a romance. Listen,
okay.
Shipping Calypso and Miss Abyss is too easy.
You don't need to do that though.
I know, you're right. All right. Number 2, can Calypso use the water to take away life?
Of course.
But I don't think so. I don't think in the like the water is like has
if a life. If you're under the water and you can't,
she could drown someone. But I don't think it's a power of the water of life.
No, I'm like, yeah, any water could take away life.
Could Calypso control things by manipulating the water side? Is she a waterbender is the question here.
I think that if she could get connected to it, she could, but like...
Yeah, I don't think she could like do you're over there and she's over here and she water bends your water. Like,
but any water she's connected to, she can manipulate.
She can manipulate, that's right.
Yeah.
I do think that there are range/dissipation effects on that. If she puts her foot in the ocean,
she can't control the whole ocean.
She can't. She doesn't immediately control the entire ocean, right? I think there is a range thing. Would Extreme Calypso have power over blood?
She's made of blood.
Her blood just happens to be water.
Yeah. Well, blood is the water of life.
Yeah.
So.
But then, Extreme versus Calypso is just red.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's Kool-Aid. If she had time, which genre of modern movies would Layla Kamel enjoy? Dramas.
Yeah, I think that she likes those Oscar bait dramas.
Yeah, right.
I know this is not a modern movie, but like the movie that I think of when I think of this type of movie is The English Patient. That it's like a period romance that's very overwrought, it's set against war. It's like
I think romance dramas, but not the like Hallmark romance type stuff. But the more like a Notting Hill.
Yeah.
If you would. All right. There we go. Unfortunately, I must hurry along as it looks like it'll be raining soon. Tomes, thank you for your letter, Tomes.
Dylan writes, hello. I really enjoyed the Raw and Calypso episode, and while I know it's no longer February, aka Love Month, I couldn't help but sense at least the potential for some tension there. Is there ever a story where Calypso realizes her hatred for Ra is actually another strong emotion, perhaps love? Does she take her quest to extinguish Ra's flame in another direction and attack Fanatic as Ra's emotional flame? I know the relationship couldn't last because how could Ra ever love someone so horribly old as late 30s? Thought it might be a possibility. Thanks for the stories, Dylan.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Late 30s.
I actually think that there could be a good story where like the movies we're just talking about, where she like has kind of a demented fantasy of that being the case with her and Ra. Of like, we're destined to play these roles.
Of playing out the roles of like, no, we're locked in this eternal fire and water romance.
Yeah, it's the I'm living the enemies to lovers arc, and Ra's like, no, we're not. We're really not doing that.
Yeah,
and she's like, swoon.
I could see it.
I was only acting. I'm not actually swooned.
Right. That was a good acted swoon there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I've got a letter for Tango, who writes, howdy, you two. I'm a little curious about something, and I was wondering if you could enlighten me. Now, bear with me on this because there's some information that comes from a couple different places. First, when you told us about Ra in his original episode, you told us that Blake Washington Jr. and anyone else who had become Ra gained the knowledge and experience of all the past incarnations, as well as a slight nudge in their personality to become more arrogant like the original Ra was, and that this change becomes more marked when in the Ra form. However, you said that Ra is not a different personality, but a change in personality from the wielder of the Staff of Ra. Yeah, I would agree with what we said back then. That's true.
Sure. Okay.
Second, you said that in the backdraft storyline, Ra was a little out of control because BWJ, Blake Washington Jr., decided not to use the power of Ra, thereby not allowing him to come out and play. So when he finally did, he didn't want to go back. This points to the idea that Ra has his own personality and is complete control of the body when the power is being used.
Yes, I think both of those things are true.
I agree. Third, Tiago Diaz becomes Ra in the Tactics timeline, and as you've said, he is a very different Ra from Blake Washington Jr.'s version, meaning that at the very least, the host's personality has a heavy sway over how Ra behaves. Finally, in the Ra versus Calypso episode, you tell us that at least in the 70s, Ra and Blake Washington Jr. are separate entities who can communicate with each other, and eventually the concept of two different entities is abandoned in favor of the concept of one guy changing personalities slightly. So I guess I have a couple of questions. So first off, before we go to this, I would agree with everything said here, and I don't think any of those things disagree with each other.
All of those things are true.
Yeah. So, one, when and why did the writers of Sentinel Comics make this change? And two, why is there a change in personality between Blake Washington Jr. and Ra in the modern era? I think that this change isn't there's a specific point in time in which it happens and it goes back. Mm-mm. I think that some stories Ra is written as two people in one body, and some stories Ra is written as one person with two personalities. And sometimes those personalities are very similar, but like slightly different. And sometimes those personalities are different people.
Yeah, I think this is a very inconsistent concept. And I think that it varies based on how the writer thinks of the character. I don't think that there is a very simple, okay, this is how it works. I don't think that it ever just like lays it out.
No, I don't think so either. But I the closest we get, I think, is that Ra and Blake Washington Jr. are individual personalities, but who are the same person. Mm-hmm. And whoever one of them is physically manifested is the one whose personality comes out more, but they are related to each other, and that's
the closest we get. Yeah.
They're incomplete without each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you've picked up the Staff of Ra, you are no longer a whole person without the both.
Yeah, but it's a complex mystical concept that doesn't have a real life answer. So it is treated very differently across comics.
Yeah. And there definitely is a change of personality between Blake Washington Jr. and Ra throughout all the eras, but sometimes they are more unified than others. And modernly they're quite unified, whereas in the 70s they were more disparate, and it changes from story to story. The backdraft story is one we talked about where like he was trying to not be Ra, but then when he became Ra, he stuck as Ra for a long time, comparatively. So yeah.
All right.
Anyway, enough from Tango. I'm tired of hearing from Tango. I'm tired of Tango. No more Tango for me, Adam.
Well, too bad. I have a letter from Tango. Howdy, you two. In Editor's Note 89, you mentioned that Blake Washington Jr. is sort of ignored in the comics through the 90s, focusing more on Ra himself before bringing Blake Washington Jr. back more in the aughts. Well, as we know, he dies during Oblivion. Do the writers give him more focus because there were plans to kill him relatively soon, so they wanted to be sure to make the readership feel that death, especially with Ra coming back as a different person later? Or was this just a choice made as a product of comic interest of the time and happened to make Blake Washington Jr.'s death more impactful? Or is the shift in focus to Blake Washington Jr. / Ra combo the reason the editors decided to kill him to show the lasting repercussions of Oblivion? Thanks, Tango.
So the change from being lots of Ra all the time to being a both sort of entity happened before any decisions about Oblivion.
Yeah, and I think it's just reflective of the storytelling of the eras, that the 90s comic readers are much more interested in like, oh yeah, this big guy burns with fire.
Yeah.
And aughts comic readers want a little bit more
the human
heady,
element.
like, yeah.
And so we get a bit of that. In terms of the choice, the shift is the reason they decided to kill him. No, I think that the reason that Ra was on the chopping block is because of how impactful a character he was, how well known. Like, whether or not you like Ra stories, everyone who reads Sentinel comics is aware of Ra. Mm-hmm. He's been around forever, and there's as much as we're talking about the inconsistencies about him right now, he has a lot of consistent, like, this is who Ra is and what Ra does. Mm-hmm. And especially in the modern era, Ra had become a much more emotionally poignant character.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't just the destruction of Ra, it's the destruction of an entire mythos.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
And so, like, I think that there's a lot more to it than just eliminating one character with that.
For sure. So, and he wasn't the only one lost. But the idea is like, yeah, we're gonna take out all of the Egyptian pantheon stuff. Is a pretty big, like, oh, Oblivion just killed all of the gods that we have that walk among us. All the gods that walk around that say they're gods, whether or not you believe they're gods, you know they're powerful. Mm-hmm. They have quote unquote godlike powers.
Yeah.
And Oblivion just like,
if someone kills 11 gods in front of you, like,
you believe them.
You believe them. Yeah. You take them seriously. Yeah.
Thank you for yet another Tango letter. I'm so excited to go through. I got Adam this week more Tango backlog letters of Tango going through all of the
nice,
the big re-listen and writing letters from past episodes.
That's very cool.
I wonder if at some point in time we should do an episode that isn't even like it's closer to a creative process, but it's just like, I don't know, it's a historical look. It's like a Tango episode that is just reading letters and answering the whole time. Is that interesting to people? I don't know. I don't know the best way to handle these letters because I want to answer them, but I don't know
I mean, I think just putting them out when they're applicable is probably the best. Like, I like them popping up over time.
Well, none of these are them. These ones, because Tango's still, these two questions here are Tango writing episodes about questions about stuff that's happening now. Then there's also the backlog questions, which are quite different. It is a walk through the history of Sentinel Comics. It's a walk through the history of the letters page. Yeah, we'll think on it because Tango's not caught up yet, so we still have some time. But I do want to.
Maybe episode 400, we do like a whole dive into the history. I don't know.
I could see doing like maybe. I feel like 400 we want to do something like more Sentinel Comics. I could see 350 being like that. Like do episode 350, the Tango-sode, and just answer.
I wasn't thinking
questions.
Necessarily the Tango-sode, but like that all those letters are applicable to like a whole history.
Right. What I'm telling you is if we do an episode about the whole history,
yeah,
we probably won't have time for a lot of letters. If we do an episode in which we answer all the Tango letters, we will have time for little else. There's a lot of them.
Okay. Well,
so this is why I'm saying we got to split them up somehow.
What if I want to address a 6-hour episode. That's No, neither of us want that. I don't like.
Unheard Grace writes, "Hey CNA, I've been reading some Silver Age Marvel comics recently, and a recurring theme is stuff being made out of asbestos so the Human Torch doesn't light it on fire and trivialize the villain plot.
Oh yeah, yep.
I have to imagine that kind of thing happening to Ra. So my question is, what are some ridiculous plot beats of stuff being made of asbestos in old Ra stories? Maybe a little specific, Unheard Grace."
Yeah, no, I mean that. I think that we need a Silver Age Raw story writers' room to tell you about that.
Silver Age writers' room Raw story. Parentheses, asbestos features heavily.
But there's definitely stories where someone's like, yes, I've coated myself in asbestos to protect myself from you.
I fight you, Ra, with my asbestos boxing gloves. Every punch I deliver releases a cloud of asbestos into the air, further preventing your powers. Also, we're both breathing it in. Don't worry about any negative health effects.
Yeah. Yep.
A cloud of asbestos. Fighting Ra in a room that is full of a cloud of asbestos definitely is a thing that would have happened and is like horrifying to consider in retrospect.
Yeah. Yep. All right. My last letter of the day comes from Kate Walker. Writes, "Dear Christopher and Adam, in episode 312, Calypso versus Ra, I'm sure this was just meant as a goof, but I decided to submit it as a question anyway. Can Ra run out of fire? Sincerely, Kate Walker."
All right, because we had the claim that like Calypso was like, "Oh, you're going to run out of fire before I run out of water."
Yeah.
Can Ra run out of fire? I think only in like someone has sapped his strength power connection to the staff connection to the Ra power.
Everything's wet.
Right, like in the right circumstance where you've created an anti-Ra room made of asbestos with water and all that, and then someone is doing. Amit is doing a ritual with the seer to disconnect Blake Washington Jr. from the Ra power. He's like, "Oh, my flame weakens. I cannot summon enough flame." And there's one of two results here. He gets defeated so that later he can get saved or save the day or whatever. Or he goes, "No, I must reach out and reconnect. Oh, reconnect with the power of Ra. Now more fire." Like it's he either overcomes it or is overcome by it.
Yeah.
But yes, he can hypothetically, in a specific situation, be caused to run out of fire, but not like, "Oh man, I sure did use too much fire today. I hit my fire quota, and now now I'm on just spark rations for the rest of the day." It's embers only from here on out, boys.
Embers only. Yeah, just some smoldering coals.
That's all I got.
Yeah, we're going to re-release the Raw deck, and half of it's going to be smoldering coals.
Right. So it's just like, oh, shoot. Oh, no. You play the top card of your deck.
And then we have suddenly card that's like...
You just smolder.
You smolder, yeah.
And some of the smolder cards are coals, and some of the smolder cards are looking at Fnatic.
Well, yeah, just be like...
Smolder.
You can't see the face I made.
Oh, those good faces, though. They missed out on that one. That would have been screaming.
Sorry, listeners.
Yeah. All right. Last letter of the day is not about any of these things, but it is for today's episode. So here we go. Hebrew Hammer writes, "Hello, CNA. I missed getting this in for the episode recorded on St. Louis Day, so I figured episode 314 would make a fine replacement."
Hey, nice. Okay.
Yeah, that works out.
Yeah, good job.
If I'm remembering correctly, Omnitron was built by a St. Louis-based company, Aldred Industries. That's true. What happened to the company after the various major Omnitron events? Were they able to withstand the likely PR hits and presumed lawsuits? Did RevaCorp try to possibly succeed in a buyout? Or is this just minutia that doesn't get addressed? Oh, in fact, it does. Thank you for the show and whatever lies you choose to share. We've talked about this, but I don't know that people knew what we were talking about. So the heir to the Aldred Industries definitely takes some hits because of the Omnitron stuff. And they have to like quietly be like, we still have like money and stuff, but we're going to stop being much of a publicly visible company. However,
Sorry for all the killer robots.
Right. Oops. The young heir to the Aldred name, Aviva Natasha Aldred, takes over the company and is like, "Hey, I'm going to use the resources of the company and the business connections and knowledge to try to do a better thing." And she takes over RevaCorp, does a corporate takeover of RevaCorp. She buys Conte Energy from Michael Conte and incorporates that. And that's all important stuff that we have touched on that briefly is addressed in the multiverse era, but not much, just at the very end going into the Universe 1 time.
Yeah, they are a new corporate entity.
Yeah, right. And we've dealt with that sort of stuff before. But anyway, that information's out there to be found, but it is squirreled away in various places. So, good question. Adam, do you want to talk about a cover?
Yes, let's do that.
All right, Adam. The cover section has begun, and I believe that we're just us, right?
We're just us. Yeah, I'm me.
Okay, I'm me too. So I think.
All right. Well,
I think we got through it.
So Matt, what do you think about this cover? What should we do that? Yeah. Okay.
Good. It's good.
We can talk about both covers. I feel like I want to do the 535 one.
Okay.
Because I want to see Synthetique.
Yeah, and you don't put her on 534. 534, I think, is you could do like members of the Freedom Five, like a couple members of Freedom Five and a couple members of Slaughterhouse 6, but have the cover be quote unquote in the dark. You could even just have a couple of members of Freedom Five pursuing like Raymanta and Desert Eagle, but then have the cover drawn as if the scene is happening, like have it be a pretty dark cover. I've seen those rarely done.
Trying to look at like what we got in 1999. What kind of covers were coming out here?
There's a lot of Batman covers that are in the dark.
Yeah, there's a lot of covers that are like this sort of thing.
Yeah, a lot of isolates with a scene behind them. Or like a team composition that's then
team composition.
Oh man, I remember that comic book cover so well, Adam.
Oh yeah.
God, peak.
This was like kind of my era of X-Men.
Yeah, me too. Because I think the first one is got to be the Slaughterhouse 6 / Raymanta stuff, because that's what's going on in the story as far as you would put on the cover. Mm-hmm. Even though it's going in a different direction, you don't reveal that right out the gate.
Okay, yeah. So like, I think that we have...
The question is, do you do the CAD style cover?
I think that I want like an illustration, and like I might just have to like go into Blender and make some shapes and make like...
And then
try and make a CGI cover and then draw them on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I want kind of this amount of copy, which we don't need to write right now, but this was super common in 1999. This like,
yeah,
a lot of these have a little bit of copy on them.
All right, Adam. This can be broken up in a number of ways, but I wanted to just give you a long thing like this, and then you can break it up, move it around, chunk it into pieces.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. All right.
Only other question before we finish the cover section. Do you have a way in your mind of how she looks? Like she should look...
I kind of just have to start drawing it, but it's going to have like digitally bits
effects
all over it. And yeah.
Like I feel like it shouldn't be too...
Maybe her head's detached.
Yeah, I feel like it should be inhuman in some way. Some like, not to say it not non-humanoid, but like undefined.
Yeah, like just like
constantly changing.
Just pieces and
pieces is a good word for the nonsense there. Yeah,
great,
cool.
I got it.
Thank you all so much for listening.
Thanks as always to our patrons. We could not do the show without you. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to Patreon/TheLettersPage and join up there and say hello to us.
I think you should go to patreon.com/TheLettersPage.
What did I say?
Patreon/TheLettersPage.
Patreon.com/TheLettersPage.
It's a computer.
It's a computer. That's
Patreon.computer.
I'm pretty sure that's what it stands for.
That's Patreon.computer. We know all about the digital realm here on the Letters Page podcast. That's right.
Yep.
Next week, April 8th, episode 315, a writer's room about bunker busters. Adam, who are the bunker busters? And what do they do?
Tell. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, man.
What a surprising, shocking episode that will be. Tune in. Don't miss it.
Not as shocking as this episode was for one character.
Correct. Someone was shocked.
She got really shocked. Yeah. Too soon. Too soon. All right. Catch you all next time.
Bye.
The Letters Page is a weekly podcast featuring fiction from the world of Sentinel Comics, written by me, Christopher Bedell,
and illustrated by me, Adam Repertaro. We're also your hosts.
The music that you hear was composed by me, Jean-Marc Giffen, and is used courtesy of Handelabra Games. The song, Christopher and Adam Reading Letters to You, was written and performed by Christopher's brother, Anthony Bedell. The show is edited and produced by me, Trevor Casterline. Thanks for listening and supporting the multiverse.
Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam reading letters from you. Let 'em read 'em at you. Let 'em read 'em at you. Oh, Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam.
Hold on, I feel the need to don a trench coat.
Yeah? You think that would help in this moment?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a cool dance you're doing, Adam. What is that dance?